Just getting used to it. It takes a while. If you've never ridden a Harley, really do it. This is the first time I've ever done it. That was quick. I have a bit of a confession to make. I've never ridden a Harley Davidson. This bike, the more I ride it, the more I would enjoy it. Hello once again, YouTube. Welcome back to the channel, or welcome to the channel if you're new. Another very special one today. I have a bit of a confession to make. I own a Triumph Speedmaster. I love cruisers. I love all motorbikes. Let's just say that. However, I've never ridden a Harley Davidson. So, I gave North Triumph a ring. North Harley a ring. Harley Davidson North London a ring. Oh, got there eventually. I bought my Triumph Speedy from Triumph North London, and just next door to Triumph is Harley Davidson North London. I rang the guys at Triumph, they put me through to Harley, and thank you so much to Harley Davidson North London. They have agreed to lend me a beautiful Harley Davidson Sport Glide for the whole day to take out, go cruising, do a bit of a review on, get a feel for it, and to be my first ever ride on Harley Davidson. It's going to be a good one. Let's get in there. Been in to see the salesman. Excuse me, I've literally just met him and I can't remember his name. I'm terrible with names, that's my bad. But he's just gone to get the keys for the Sport Glide here, which is very exciting. I hope you can see I took a few shots of inside. It's a wicked dealership actually. Harley's really cool vibe in there. Really chilled, relaxed. Yeah, make you feel really good. Fun company, fun dealership. So he's gonna come out, he's got the keys, gonna come out. Oh, I'm excited, really excited. It's a big one. Never ridden a Harley Davidson. Really just sort of hitting me now. I'm mega excited about this. Oh, this is it.
This is the Sport Glide, man. So this actually has the premium pack on it.
So
you've got the sissy bar on there, a few little details, flush fuel caps, Rizoma mirrors, Rizoma grips.
Oh, nice. Yeah, it looks really nice. Is that slightly higher windscreen as well?
Slightly higher windscreen as well.
Yeah.
Well spotted.
And that comes as a package?
Effectively, yeah.
Like
so all these parts come
pack.
in as like a premium pack, so you just pay a lump sum and you get them all put on.
Epic. Okay, guys. So thank you very much, Jay, for lending me the Sport Glide for today. Oh, I'm excited. So I think what we'll do, we'll just jump on. I'm going to start her up and we'll just get out of Watford and head into Chiltern Hills, nice country lanes, and just get a feel for the bike before I start getting into details, etc. But here comes the moment of magic. My first ever startup on a Harley Davidson. This is the 107, that's 1700 cc's. My Speedmaster, just over there, is 1200. So this is a little bit bigger, bit of American muscle. See what she's like. There we go. Oh yeah, initial things just from starting it. There's some nice sort of, not too intrusive or bad, but some nice, quite big sort of throbs in the saddle. Yeah, I haven't felt that before. That's that big V-twin, I think. Well, it definitely is. Unless there's an earthquake. Anyway, let's get moving. We are off. Just pulling out of Harley Davidson Watford, North London. So, first up, indicators. One on the left-hand side here and one on the right. And they are self-cancelling, so I'm told. Oh dear, what's happened here? So apparently someone has crashed into the ambulance. That's not good. I hope they're alright. Well, if you're going to crash into anything, I suppose an ambulance is, at least they're already there to look after you. Anyway, real first thoughts on this. I'm comparing it really to a Speedmaster I've just jumped off of, but no rev gauge, which is fine. Nice and old school, I suppose. So you just have to go off the feel of the engine. The speedo is really classic. I love this metal chrome surround on the speedo. Nice old school dial. That's really cool, actually. I think I'm a fan of that. So as it is a considerably bigger engine than the Speedmasters, and the Speedmasters isn't small. This is a 1700 1.7 litre cc motor on a motorbike. To me, seems insane. It feels, need to get used to it. It feels and this is, trying to think of the right word, not sluggish, I mean, I've only just started, but bigger than the 1200s, not quite as immediate as the Bonneville 12, I would say so far, but that's very early days. Bear with me, that may change. Riding position, very, very keen on immediately. I'm really comfortable, very comfy seat, actually very supportive on the back. It's bigger than the Speedmasters. The handlebars on this are obviously quite a different layup to a Speedmaster. They're a lot higher and sort of swept back a little bit, but obviously not as much as the beach bar handlebars on the Speedmaster. It feels, well, you can feel there is torque there when you hammer it, if you hammer it. Very nice, big, clunky gear. You can tell when you put it into gear. When you go down the first one, there's a big clunk. And then when you're changing up as well, it's a very mechanical big clunk, which I suppose is what Harley's is all about. You get that character for sure. Oh, this is gonna be good. Come on, Red Hang, compose yourself. Stay professional. And just one last immediate thought before I catch up with you again on some nice roads. The handling. It feels quite good. Now I know Harley do say this is a sport glide, so you can use it. It's meant to be a slightly more sport focused and handle well as well. And immediate, just riding around town, it feels quite manoeuvrable to me actually. That does feel quite good. Anyway, catch up with you in a second. Let's get some nice roads. Okay guys, so how are we doing? Out on some nicer roads. I've had a little bit of time on the bike now, and yeah, impressions after a first little bit of time, very interesting. It takes a while to reset expectations and what I'm used to. Yeah, I mean, if we compare it to the Speedmaster, so let's start off with the engine. It's got a lot more pull than a Speedmaster. It's not scary, it's not like snappy. You sort of roll on and it just sort of keeps on pulling, and when you reach the higher speeds in 6th gear, you're up to 70 very nicely, and it'll just sit there and it'll keep on pulling. It is a lot beefier than the Speedmaster. Yeah, and with the motor, I suppose on my Speedmaster I've actually got a D-cat on it, and an aftermarket Vance & Hines exhaust, so my Speedmaster sounds nicer, and it feels a bit more responsive. I'm sure if you get a D-cat on this and the stage 1 or 2, whatever Harley do, it'll feel amazing. Go on to handling. This, surprisingly, I'm actually really surprised. This feels really good handling. Not as nimble as the Speedmaster because it's obviously quite a bit heavier, this, but actual handling for on the twisties or getting your knee down, which you're not going to get your knee down on this, but roundabouts it's better than the Speedmaster. I'm really surprised. It's really good. I wouldn't worry about that if you're concerned about handling. It's not a sports bike, but it's really good fun to ride around on. Oh, we're coming into Great Missenden. Shout out to another fellow motorbike YouTuber, the Missenden Flyer. Big shout out to him. Check his channel out if you haven't seen it. Brilliant videos. Yeah, he actually got me into motorbiking, so yeah, big shout out to him. Thank you, the Missenden Flyer. Yeah, so the handling, as we were saying, handling's very good. I'm really impressed with it. It's a really fun ride. That'll be down to its weight. She's a big girl. She's a heavy girl. Is 316 kilograms wet, I believe, and that is not light. And you can feel that. You sort of immediately feel like it's fine, it's easy to ride and maneuver around. I guess it's because this is my first Harley, I guess it's that Harley feeling that people go on about. Like the front brakes, it's a single disc front brake, and they're perfectly adequate at stopping you, but you can sort of grab a big fistful of front brake and it'll stop you nicely, but you're not gonna, doesn't feel like you're gonna skid or the ABS is gonna kick in. They're not that sharp, but I suppose that is the purpose of Harleys and based around the design of it. It's more of a big cruiser, heavier bike. It's not meant to be that sharp and aggressive. So yeah, the brakes are interesting, and again, with the weight, you can just feel the whole package put together. The clutch is heavy, big heavy clutch, big clunky gear shifter. I mean, I thought mine was clunky on the Speedmaster, but not at all compared to this. But it's a bonus. I mean, it's characterful. I personally prefer the lighter clutch on the Speedmaster, but that is part of the charm of the Harley, I guess. Whee! Yeah, it's a lot quicker than the Speedmaster. The giveaway's in the name. It's a lot sportier ride than the Speedmaster. It handles really well. You can have fun on this. My camera's not enjoying it though. My GoPro. Yeah! Oh! It's that American muscle there. It just rolls on. Yeah, I'm enjoying this. Very much so. No idea what RPMs I'm doing, as it doesn't tell you, but yeah, it feels good. And that with a big exhaust and maybe a stage 1 or 2 on it would be, sure, exciting. Just getting used to it now. I was a bit, to be honest, when I first jumped on it, first 20 minutes I was thinking, oh no, not for me. I get this a lot though with bikes. The longer I ride them, the more I love it. Feels quite planted on the road, you know. So we're just heading for a bit of a scenic spot here, I hope. It looks beautiful. Wendover Woods in the Chilterns. Yeah, I must say, this Harley Davidson is growing on me. Definitely. Cool, they are characterful, aren't they? I know what people are talking about. I mean, this is the newer versions. Apparently they're less characterful, which I get that. I can assume the older versions are more vibey and just have a bit more character, but yeah, once you get used to this, it's sort of something you fall in love with, a bit like my Speedy, the Speedmaster. It just gets you. Like, it's not perfect by any means. Like, if I'm comparing it to the Triumph Tiger 900, for instance, completely different bike, but that was smooth, efficient. It was just incredibly good and efficient all round. I mean, this isn't hating or a bad point. This is clunky, very heavy clutch, heavy gear. It's a little bit tricky to get into neutral. Yeah, I mean, and it's big as well. It's a heavy bike, but once you get used to it, it's actually very lovable, if that makes sense. Very lovable machine. With all of the customizations you can do on Harleys, you could just customize it to your heart's content, which is big bonus. Oh, it's got that low down grunt even with this stock exhaust. I'd love to get a really loud exhaust on this. I must say that extra power that it has on the Speedmaster does make a difference for long touring, and it's more of a substantial bike. It really is. You do feel that. The Speedmaster is endearing and beautiful, and I love her. But when you get on this, it's a bigger, musclier proposition, shall we say? Huh. beautiful spot to pull up to here. I think we found a good one. Just in the woods, and I think it's ideal for the Harley. It seems to suit it. What a ride over. First experience on a Harley Davidson. Peach. Love it. Completely sold. Love Harleys. And that's that done. I thought I would, to be honest. It took me a while to get into it, about 20 minutes. I wasn't keen. After the first 20, completely sold. I've always liked the Sport Glide actually because of the wheels, this sort of modern, it's got that classic look, the Sport Glide, but it's also got a sort of modern look to it as well, which I think is really cool. And if you haven't seen a review of it, obviously its main trick is you can detach the hard panniers and the Batwing Fairing at the front really quickly, really easily. I'll show you in a second. And then it's like a stripped down classic. Is it the Slim? I'm not too sure. I'm sure you watching me know. Let me know what it is, but it looks like a classic older Harley then. And that is mega cool. I'm just so psyched I'm riding a Harley Davidson. It's awesome. Yeah, let's get into some of the figures. Right, so power figures from this beautiful 107, that's 1700cc. It's a 1.7 litre engine, and it's putting out 146 newton meters of torque and 95 brake horsepower. Now the horsepower figure doesn't sound like a lot. I personally think that's quite a sweet spot, 95 brake horsepower to 100. Don't need too much more than that, but the torque, 146 newton meters, that's a lot, and it's really very low down. When you're cruising, if you just want to cruise on the motorway or take it really easy, which I love to do, and soak up the sights and just be in the moment and mindful and present, good for your mental health, then this is brilliant for that. You just chuck it up into 6th gear, keep the revs nice and low, and just enjoy the surroundings. It's really good, really smooth at that. And then when you want to that Harley thrub, when you want to crack on a little bit, it's got that torque, and with a, as I was saying, an aftermarket exhaust, it would be peach, it'd be really nice. I'm a massive fan of the engine. Right, so if we get on to, moving on to the suspension, I'm not going to go into detail with it too much because I don't think it really matters. It's how it feels and how it makes you feel, and you think how the bike rides really. It's upside down forks at the front, so they are making an attempt at being slightly sporty and good suspension compared to what Harley Davidson are classically known for, which I think is a great thing. Yeah, suspension, brilliant, surprisingly good. I actually think it's not a lot, but better than the Speedmaster I ride. It actually feels very planted on the road. It turns in and handles really, really nicely. It actually, hate to say it, but it gives me more confidence handling wise than my Speedmaster does, which is, I think, very big compliment coming from how much I love my Speedmaster. Cool, so if I just walk you around this way, we'll try and get a good view of the sort of riding point of view, which I am a big fan of. I would even raise the handlebars by a few inches and have them come back even more, give it more of a classic swept back look to it. But yeah, it's incredibly comfy. The seat's very wide. It feels bigger, a lot bulkier and more substantial than my Speedmaster seat, and I've got the comfort seat. It's just something about the overall feel of this bike. I guess that's Harley. It's everything's just sort of, and that American side of it, everything's just, I mean that in a good way. Everything's just bigger. It's fairly simple, it seems, but it's characterful. Great recipe they've got going on Harley. Obviously, it's been one of the most popular bikes in the world for a long time, so they must be doing something right, but it's nice to feel it for myself. So on the character, you've got this, which I'm massive fan of. It sort of rises up at an angle towards you, which makes you feel like you're sort of sat in the bike, which is really nice. And it's just quality. I mean, this is chrome, and it really is. It's really made, really quality, nice old school dial. And obviously you've got the nice chrome handlebars here, and everything's metal, you know, everything to the touch. There's no fakery. Everything is genuine and quite high quality. Okay, so stepping on, let's move on to the weight of the bike, which I think is quite a big point about the bike, because it's a big point and it's a big weight. Straight to it, wet weight is 317 kilograms. That's a heavy bike, and to be honest, when you're riding it, handling wise, you don't feel it. I'm going to say you don't feel it. It's really good handling, but the general theme of the bike, everything about it, the braking, the acceleration, although quick, it does feel like a weighty you know, slightly slower bike. It's not as nippy and agile as my Speedmaster because it's a fair bit lighter, but I don't think that takes away from the bike. The weight, it sort of adds to it. It gives it that character, that not so efficient character to it, and it's sort of just, you lob along and you enjoy the weight. You get used to the weight, and yeah, I don't know how to describe it. It sort of gives it character. Now, one tricky thing about it, moving it, especially on gravel, not easy. I just tried to do it just to angle it a bit better here for the sun to get a nice shot for you guys, but yeah, it's not easy on gravel, and it's not that deep a gravel, but yeah, keep you fit as long as you don't drop it. That would be pricey. Actually, coming on to the price, there's no good way to put this, just hit you with it straight away. It's £16,795. It is on the pricier side of motorbikes. You're in the top of the range GS, pretty much every other manufacturer top of the range really. Bar Harley, they do a lot more expensive bikes as well, but let's stick with this one for the moment. That's a lot of money. That is brand new, so obviously there'll be second-hand deals out there, or you can go to your local Harley dealership. I'm sure they've got some good deals, so I'd recommend doing that. But yeah, I've always thought they are really expensive, and I suppose you're partly paying for the name Harley Davidson, but I'm actually blown away by the quality and the material of everything on the bike. It's all really, everywhere you touch, all the touch points, it's real metal. There's not really any faker in saying that cover there is plastic, but other than that, pretty much everything is real metal, and it's bulky metal as well. It's American steel. Okay, that was too corny. Sorry about that. I understand the price. It's weighty, and it's a really quality, stunning bit of machinery. Cool, so I think I'll just show you the Batwing Fairing here. I really like the look of it, and it looks solid, as if it's sort of on there and it doesn't come off, if you know what I mean. When I saw the bike in the metal, it just looks completely a part of the bike. But I'm just going to show you now how easy it is to unclip it and take it off and strip it down, and the same with the panniers on the back as well. I'm going to take those off and show you how quick they can come off. This is the first time I've ever done it. The dealer showed me how to do it, Jay. Thanks, Jay. So start your stopwatches. I'm going to give it a go. That was quick. The other one's locked, so I have to unlock it, but that was, well, what was that, 10-20 seconds? Okay, apologies, you're gonna have to take my word that I did. You saw me do those two, just the other one's locked, and it would, yeah, I don't think I need to go any further. I've proved my point, they're really easy to take off. So yeah, I'll just pop them back on now, and we'll take a bit of a closer look at the fairing clip-on and the clip-ons for the panniers. So here's the pannier. It's a hard case pannier, which I quite like the idea of. Feels nice and sturdy. There's two bolts on here, and you have this like metal frame here that slides on to the bike. I'll just show you now. It just slides on. It's really easy, and then you just flick down this red latch here, and that locks it into place. As simple as that. So this is your fairing, the Batwing Fairing. This is the rear side, obviously. It's just two clips, a clip here and the same on the other side. And you're really easy. There's a couple of location points at the top. You just slip it onto the front suspension, clip them up, and it's done. Brilliant. I hope that was some useful to you guys. A bit of an emotional review, how a bike makes you feel, and then a bit of a more technical look around the bike and how the fairings, panniers come off, etc. So yeah, just going to jump back on the bike now, go for a cruise, and give you my final thoughts on the Harley Davidson Sport Glide. Alright, back on the girl. Overall thoughts on the Harley Sport Glide and my first Harley ride. I hope this hasn't been too long a video for you. As maybe you could tell already, this is an amazing machine, as usual. I love it. There's definitely got its downsides. As a conclusion, I'm not just jump on any motorbike, say I love all of them. Even though I do like most of them. It's got its downsides, but it depends what you're after. If you're after something really sporty, then obviously this is not the bike. If you're after an adventure style bike, this isn't the bike. However, if you're after an adventure style bike, but you just never go off-road, and you're planning on doing touring, this is a great bike. Would be a brilliant bike for touring, I think. I would get a bigger screen on it here for more wind protection. You do get quite a bit of wind blast actually on the face, so I would get a bigger windscreen. But other than that, the panniers are big and they're solid, fully waterproof, solid panniers. It's got loads of power, plenty of power for cruising really comfortably at motorway speeds. And it's characterful as well. So yeah, it definitely could be a touring machine, but this is why I like it. It's quite versatile. Take the panniers and the fairing off, and it can just be a really characterful cruiser, or really characterful, just sort of beautiful motorcycle, you know. So yeah, I think this is a really, really good bike and a really versatile one as well. I must mention quickly before we finish, this bike does have an accessories package on it that include these cool looking mirrors. I probably wouldn't go for these mirrors. I'd go more classic style, but they are smart. They're really nice metal. It's got a slightly higher windscreen here, and a couple of other bits and bobs, like these fuel caps are flush. On the standard bike they're silver, but they're sort of flush here. You push them in and twist them, which is very cool. Yeah, but other than that, it's pretty much standard. Oh, just getting used to it. It takes a while. If you've never ridden a Harley, really do it. You may not like them at all. It may not be for you. But I can see this growing on me more and more. This bike, the more I ride it, the more I would enjoy it. It's one of those. Anyway, thank you for watching, guys. All the best to you. Hope you're having a brilliant start to the year. If you're liking the vids, please don't forget to subscribe and like the videos. That'll be much appreciated. Till next time, this has been Red Ang Revival. Ciao Bella.